Hello, this is One Mana Left, and this is going to be an update video to my Ignite Titan. And I am using, for clear, Stampede, and for one-shotting bosses, Hammer of the Gods. This week, despite Warrior really struggling with clear, there was a combination that people had that was using Devastate and Armor Explosion. And it self-chained off itself in order to get some nice full-screen pops. And that was making the clear finally kind of bearable. But despite Warrior still being probably the last place clear speed class, they came in and nerfed that this week. They added a line of text that says on Armor Explosion that cannot break armor. This line of text was not there before. So I made a few modifications. I've ditched the Devastate gem, and I've instead gone for Shattering Blow. This allows me to basically gain +1 gem link. So now I have both Fire Infusion and Momentum in there. So I've kind of upped a gem link to get the damage back. So the damage is a little higher, but it doesn't self-chain off itself anymore. But right now I have Stampede, faster attacks, AoE, added fire, momentum, and armor explosion. It's a little higher damage than before, but just less full screen popping. I'll do a map demo toward the end and show it off, but I'm just going to get into the fun part with this build. And that's one-shotting bosses. If this didn't exist, there would not be much argument to play Titan. But we do have one fun button where fun is in fact allowed, and it's called Hammer of the Gods, which I have linked to Fist of War, Close Combat, Eternal Flame, Searing Flame, and Weapon Ellie. This lets me basically one-shot even endgame bosses. Let's find out. Let's watch this guy. Oh, that hit really hard. Alright. He's out of the hammer. He's barely in the hammer. Okay, well, that was a poor start. We got him, though. Don't worry. He auto-phased. That was not a good start. I got really, really smacked, and then he almost missed the hammer. That would have been a bad intro. It's fine. The last one of these guys dropped Ingenuity. Maybe this one will, too. I think Phase 2 has a little more HP. You gotta let him heal once, and then you're good to go. He'll heal, and then it's one-shot time. And he is gone. What was that, 10 mil ignite? There we go. Alright. So, right now, that wasn't the biggest hit. If I had like a good stun or like a high roll, whatever. There's my belt back. Got my refund. I'd probably do about 15 to 20 mil. That was probably 6 seconds of ignite for 9 mil. But my ignite does last like 10 seconds, I think. Okay, only 9.32 right now. But yeah, that was about 2/3 of my ignite. This will be an 80, just because 77, close enough. I think legally I have to Vol Orb that. Like right now as is. Hang on, for the sake of the video, real quick, let's give the people what they want. I know, well, if you have no soul, you can skip ahead 10 seconds, but I mean, we have to, right? Alright. Turned on, 77. It's a 70 now. Okay, well, that's like a brick. That's not that hard of a brick. That's passable. Alright, close enough. Anyways, so the boss damage is very good. The clear with the nerf is a little bit struggling. But I'll go over the skill tree, changes I've made. I'll talk about what I just did that you might not have paid attention to. And then I'll just end on a map demo. Also, I don't even know if this is worth anything. Okay, so Um, we have to talk about these two things together: the talent tree, as well as what I did there with my swap weapons. So normally I'm using the surrender and a two-hander in the front, but that's not what I do when I want to one-shot a boss. So first, here's my talent tree. I've picked up the skill speed because we really just need help on speed. That's it. Like, everything else is fine. I have a very hard time dying. I can do 10 breaches at once in a tier 18 map with 5 damage mods, and I'm generally fine. It's maybe a really hard boss fight can hit me hard because then that kind of goes around surrender. But tankiness is pretty good. I've just recently gone all the way up here. Instead of taking my block nodes down here now, like here, and like here, and I had a couple more here, I instead just decided to go up top here. Because this node's so good, and then this is a lot of damage at 75 block. The reason this is worth it is because jewel sockets are so powerful that if you can actually get good jewels, this makes it really worth it. Like, I can divine this to +2 max res, life on kill, AoE, LA damage. This is my worst jewel. Alright? +2 max fire, damage with maces, fire pen, rage on hit. That's insane. I can divine this to +2, AoE, ailment duration, ailment magnitude, 3 rage when hit, 7 fire damage, +2 max res, ailment effect, magnitude, life on kill, max res. Like, they're insane. Jewels, if they have 4 stats, are worth at least 4 talent points. So that makes this 4-pointer good. And if you're already over here, it makes this setup, like, really worth it to drop these. So that's one of the changes I made recently. But you'll notice here I have these nodes in red. There's something I'm using here to do really big boss damage, and it's the weapon swap mechanic. So if you look at my Hammer of the Gods, it does 80k damage. But if I weapon swap, now you might think, oh, it's only 83k damage. Isn't that worse? No. Because it doesn't count your weapons twice. When you actually count both weapons, then it's like 2.1 times damage. But then I also have nodes for more ignite effect that I didn't have on the other. And that's DPS too, so I've taken reduced attack speed. So the average hit is actually much higher. And like I said, I have... At one point, I was taking these for ignite duration, but pretty much I have a bunch of pure damage points. I have 20 damage points that I take, and I unspec all my block nodes. So you'll notice here on my weapon swap, all my blocks gone here. All my blocks gone here. I drop my armor break nodes because this is only for Stampede, so I don't need these 4 points for Hammer. And I have 20 points, and I drop my skill speed because this doesn't make Hammer hit harder. So then I have 20 points that I drop, and I just go pure damage, and it makes the hammers hit like 3.2 times harder when you factor in the ignite. So this is what I do when I want to one-shot a boss. Like, for example, if you want to look at, like, you know, this was the last King of the Mist I did. Let's watch the replay, because I have this one handy. You'll notice I have my weapon swap already on. I have about 4,500 life without it on. Oop. But what I'm going to do here... Okay, he hits me really hard right as I cast Hammer, because this is an unfortunate side effect, but Hammer costs 1,300. And if a boss hits you right when you use Hammer, sometimes that happens, and the way around it is just to build good habit of, like, the second you hit Hammer, just spam Life Flask, like, 3 times. Because if you have a belt, either an Ingenuity or something like this for a rare belt, the 20% applied instantly. If you have, like, Herbalism on and, like, Blood Magic Flask for remove mana, you get, like, 700 life per click. So my new habit that I've gotten good at to kind of avoid these situations is to just... The second I use Hammer, I just, like, triple tap the Life Flask, and it kind of cancels it. But it's a little sketchy. If you, like, as my life pool goes up, this will get way less sketchy, because the cost shouldn't go up anymore. But then the other thing is I'm casting Flammability now. I ditched the Zophs for a different Ami, and I finally have enough int now, because I have the chest piece that takes, like, 50 dex and ints, that I can finally use Flammability. So the order I do is I Warcry, I Hammer, then I cast Flammability on the boss while the hammer's falling. Even if the Flammability goes on after the hammer hits, that will lower the hammer damage, but that will not lower the ignite damage. So it's fine. And then, but yeah, I've already weapon swapped here. I don't have my shield on at all. I have my, you can kind of see I have my two-handers on. And then we just hit him really hard. I didn't even get to ignite him, really. I have a 9.9 second ignite here. And I just, like, killed him up front. So I didn't actually really use the ignite mechanic there. But that's a good demo of the full abuse and power of the weapon swap mechanic. I'm not even really losing defense.
Because he hit me right as I cast hammer, so my HP.
And turns out I'm good at getting these belts. I'm just not good at corrupting them. I've bricked 2 belts on the corrupt. But okay. I'm adding this chest in just to get a little more life. Because I finally have enough dex in it now with all attributes are all in the same ammo that I can use that. So this is getting me a good amount of life. I'm using a Against the Darkness here that just has life and max lightning res. Added fire and percent strength are probably better than this, but this is just an okay one for the current cost. I'm not, like, swimming in dough right now, but if I keep getting, well, to be fair, my total character is probably worth, like, 35 divines. And then today, I got a perfect 80% ingenuity. And then I bricked it. And then I sold the brick for that King of the Mist right there, and I'm back to a 70. So I'll call that a good day overall. But room for improvement. But I'll finish showing a map here. So I'll just, I don't know, I'll just do this map. It's got level... Here, this map has a lot of modifiers. It's +1/+1, so it's a tier 17 map. And I corrupt an 8 mod map. So this is roughly as hard as it gets, because you can't get a 16 that's 8 mods. It's either 8 mod 15 or 6 mod 18, or excuse me. It's either an 8 mod 17 or a 6 mod 18, and 8 mod 16 is generally harder. So I'll just finish off showing off... Okay, I shouldn't have picked a Vol Foundry, because this is a terrible map. But, I mean, yeah, the clear is not incredible or anything. I don't do the weapon swap thing in mapping, because generally rares just still die. I usually only use it for Pinnacle bosses. But, I don't, you will still one-shot pretty much any rare without the weapon swap. So I would keep your shield on and not weapon swap while mapping. I would only do it for boss one-shots. I do it for the map boss. Alright, screw that guy. Oh, he did get hit. I do it for the map boss itself, because right now I have all the Atlas points that are like +4 boss level. So right now my tier 17 bosses are like, you know, tier 21. So yeah, this is not a good map to show off clear speed. It's a giant map with tiny hallways that have like no density. But I mean it plays similarly to before. It's got one layer of pop, but it does not self-chain. Okay, I actually picked the worst possible boss. Alright, I'll just show another boss one-shot, and then I'll peace out of here. It's not worth it. I picked the worst possible map to show off clear speed. A wide-open outdoor map would have been better. If I had a breach in here, that'd be maybe good. But even in this layout, breach is probably bad. One tip, if you aren't already doing this, but if you get surrounded by monsters and drop a hammer, there's actually no reason that you have to, like, not active block. Like, once you active block, you're done. Like, once the hammer circle animation forms, don't cancel it too soon or you'll accidentally cancel your hammer. But if you use hammer and you wait for about 3/4 of a second and then put up your active block, you can actually just cheese most fights, both bosses and just being surrounded by rare monsters, just by dropping hammer and then putting up active block until the hammer hits and they die. So you just have that like 2.5 seconds. You gotta kind of just turtle it up, but yeah, okay. I guess this is not a good clear speed demo, like I said, but I'm at least showing off that I'm doing an 8 mod tier 17 map, and we're not struggling. The only thing that looks like struggling is the clear speed, and like that's just the way it is, sadly. And they nerfed our armor pop pro lifts, so I do think there is a push from the community that mapping without bosses feels bad. And I would say the vast majority of players seem to want every map to have a boss. If they do go that direction and decide to put a boss in every map, that will indirectly, well, fairly directly, be a huge warrior buff. Because then, you know, classes that have really good clear speed, if the bosses are, you know, hard and rewarding, the warrior can one-shot them. But right now, it just sucks that there aren't that many bosses in maps, so you get a little bit lower value doing that. This map just sucks, by the way. I had about a 4-day period where I didn't die at all in maps. And unfortunately today I had a map, I broke that streak. What was that? Today I broke that streak. In a 4-day period though, I had gained 2.5 levels with 0 mapping deaths and 2 boss deaths. One of the bosses was Meteor to Arbiter. I feel like that's forgivable, other than the fact that even though I one-shot him, he still phased at like 1 HP into the Meteor phase, and I hadn't done the fight before. But I had a 4-day, 2.5 level streak up until today of no mapping deaths. Surrender carries pretty hard. You don't need Surrender, because Cannibalism or like Life on Killjewels can carry pretty hard. But if you really get surrounded, and you have a spot where you're not killing stuff, Surrender's just so good. Okay, I would really like to find this boss and be done with this. I picked the worst possible layout map to try to show off a map clear. Have mercy on your judgment just looking at the fact it's an 8 mod T17 in a Val Foundry. Surely I'm owed some mercy there. Oh, it's this guy. This is the boss. Alright. This was actually the coolest campaign boss, not gonna lie. Oh, dude, even the elevator down is cool. Okay, this is cool. That's pretty cool. Alright, big guy, get out here. Come on. Come here. There he goes. Alright. So, there's my mapping demo. It's, this was the most juice map I could make. Just with the maps I had in my inventory. Is this? Oh, it's an essence. Alright. Technically I didn't clear that map, but close enough. That full clear system sucks. Alright. I'll post the updated Mobalytics setup with the gem links. I think we're not far away from being able to have armories in there. With actual items linked. But I'll mouse over the items all if you just want to see. So, pause if you want to see my items. I don't think my gear's crazy. I'm going to up the budget here in a second, because I just had a second ingenuity drop. I did brick both, but this one only bricked to a 70, so I'm going to put this one on. I'll show my swap weapons too. On the swap weapons, by the way, you want to prioritize gem level. Because only half the damage contributes to the total hit, but the gem level gets full value. So gem level gets full value, and like a weapon LE roll with like 100% increased elemental damage with weapons, that would get full value because that's global. But the all gems is global. So on these, I prioritize slow weapons that have as much plus gems as possible, and like an okay average hit. Whereas on my front weapon, I want to have a little bit of attack speed, and more total damage, not as much plus gems. You know, obviously in a mirror scenario, you'd have +7 on the 800 DPS weapon. But as far as, you know, playing with a budget, I would say try to get higher gem level and slower weapons on the swap, because that's just for the hammer hit. And try to get a little bit faster and a little bit total DPS on the front one. But I already moused over my jewels. That should wrap it up for this update. I'm on break for 11 days now, so I will be playing a lot more. Maybe toward the end of that, I'll look at a reroll. But for the time being, I'm just going to scale this higher and just push more endgame, and I'll catch you guys next time.